Hey YouTube, Sweetknives here. Check this out. We got what we got is a Benchmade 535 Bugout taken out of the actual scales. And what I'm doing is I put it in the vise for the TSProf. We're going to sharpen this from beginning to end. So if you're new here, take a moment, hit that subscribe. If you want to see how a knife is sharpened from the beginning to the end using diamond stones and doing it the proper way, this is a great video that will show you exactly how to do that. So without further ado, I am going to sharpen this bad boy up, and yeah, we're going to try to take it to the next level of sharpening with lapping films. So thanks guys for watching. Sit back, relax. I'm starting off with 150 grit. We got this at 18 degrees, and I'm using the single clamp in the TSProf. And yeah, you'll see here, I also got it taped here with a zip tie just so it doesn't bump up against the extra metal pieces right there. I find that it's a lot easier to sharpen these knives without having the knife in the scales. Otherwise, you do risk damaging the scales, and we don't want to damage the scales. So yeah, we're just taking it here. We're going to try to form a burr. That's the idea. Once you get a burr, then we'll flip it to the other side and make sure that we're doing it even. So here we go. We're on the other side now. Basically what we're doing on this one is we're matching the factory angle at 18 degrees, and we're going to put a mirror polish on it. So it's a good working edge, but it'll be extremely sharp. And I am going to just double check the angle here just to make sure we're at roughly 18 on both sides. So let's see where we're at. I zeroed it out. Yeah, right at 18. I don't know if you can see that, but 18.1 there. And we can double check the other side as well. Make sure that's at the same. Right at 18. That's beautiful. That is what we're going for. So let me just keep going. Make sure we get a burr on the entire length of the edge, and go from there. I was going to say, a lot of people use other sharpening systems, which there's a million ways to sharpen a knife. Literally a million different ways. This is just the way that I like. It seems to work really well, and I've been able to get some extremely sharp edges. So if you're looking for a way to sharpen expensive knives without altering the edge or messing it up, this is a great way to get a uniform edge on each side of the blade. We got to keep going a little bit more. It's not the fastest, so I do have some other fast ways. If you're looking for a really fast way to get an edge, that's still amazing. Check out the AMK. For a lot of knives, like butcher knives, kitchen knives, or even hunting knives that you don't need to have an extreme mirror edge, just almost like a mirror edge, that's an awesome way to go. But for your highest end knives, I recommend a system like the TSProf. That way you're being able to make sure that you get the exact edge that you want on the knife. As you can see, you build up diamond dust. You want to wipe that off little by little. And I'm just feeling here to see if I can feel a burr. Like right here, I can feel that burr, but there's a little more to go. But because we want to match the angle width on each side, we're going to just continually do a little by little until we get that apex and the burr forms, and then we know that we got to move to the next grit. So this is 150. The next one's going to be 220. So we just have to keep going. I'm going to adjust one thing here too. About there. See, now I can get the full length. Let's see where we're at. See if I can feel that. Oh yeah. I feel it along the whole entire side. I'm gonna turn it around. I'm gonna flip this and see if I can see it. I can see it with the naked eye the whole entire way except for right up there. So what I'm gonna do is spend a little bit more time on that part on this side, really carefully. I put my finger here so it can't go down. I'm just trying to balance it. I want to have a sharp point right there. See if I can see it now. Still a little more, a little bit more. This part, so guys, this part takes the longest because you're trying to develop that edge. Additional sharpenings of this knife will go much easier, but because it was sharpened on a belt sander or belt grinder the very first time, you have to redo the geometry a little bit. Which is no problem. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's look at the other side. Just double check it. Everything looks good. I'm gonna go a hair more, just a hair more. I'm gonna wipe this and just go a hair more. Right here. With the camera right here, it's kind of hard to sometimes see exactly where I gotta go, so doing the best I can. Sometimes it just takes a long time. I get a lot of questions on this, like, how come I'm not able to get a burr right here? Well, the reason for that is you just have to spend more time. And a lot of people don't want to spend. They think it should be fast, but it's not fast. You really got to just take your time. And with that, we're going to move to the next one, which is 220. So I will put that one on right now. Here we go. It's looking really good, guys. That was 220. That's about all we need on that one. I'm going to move on to 400 now. So here's 400. With each grit that we go, it gets a lot smoother and it gets a lot less noisy. And that's because the grit particles are much more fine. The hardest step is the beginning because we're forming that burr. But once you get that, it makes the rest of the steps much easier. You can see this is already turning out really nice. I really like how it's looking so far. Really nice. Let's clean that up. The knife is extremely sharp at this point, so you do really have to be careful. Let's go to 600. This is going really well. And I should mention on the blade material, for those that don't know, this is S30V. And S30V was created for knife makers in the early 2000s, and it's been a really good steel generally. There are steels that are better than it right now, but S30 is a great steel. Okay, we're done with that one. We can go to 1,000. Some steels take longer on each side. You just have to kind of see what works for you. In this case, it's going pretty good, so we're going to keep going. Here's 1,000 grit now. You can just tell that it's very smooth at this point. Some people want their knives at this level. They leave it at this, they won't go any further, and that's totally fine. If you're going to be using this knife, you may not need the extra mirror finish, and that's okay. Whatever works for you. Just a reminder for all those out there that don't have a system like this, but they have a few knives and they would like sharpened, shoot me an email at sweetknives2020@gmail.com and I will sharpen your knife for free. I'll feature it on the channel and sharpen it for free and send it back to you. I enjoy doing this and happy to help anybody out there. And with that, we are going to move to the lapping films, which is really going to put that mirror edge on. We're going to start with 5 micron diamonds. These are, I'm going to link where you can get these in packs, and I'll put that in the description. And in this case, you want to always go like this. Pull it away because you'll risk cutting it if you don't. The knife is extremely, this is basically beyond stropping. I know some people find that hard to believe, but it is beyond. I do want to check one thing real quick. My angle. And we need to be at exactly 18. And I know I got to adjust it slightly. Just slightly. That's perfect. Let's go to the other side. I'm going to wipe this, respray it with water. You can already see that mirror come in. It's really nice. That's the power of these lapping films. They do a really, really good job. Let me wipe that again. Just a second. I'm going to respray. We'll clean this all up in just a minute. I'm going to do each side one more time. All right, let's do this side again. This is going to be sharp. Sharp-o sharp. All right, clean that edge. Now we're going to move to 3. These are mounted on glass platens, so it's really easy. They last for approximately 3 to 5 knives, depending on exactly what you're doing, but you can get these in packs, and I find them to be the best way to finish a knife, hands down. Especially knives that you're going to have in your collection, or if you need extreme surgical sharpness, this is the way to do it. I'm just a big believer in the lapping films. And don't take my word for it. Anybody that's used these will tell you the same thing. It's just extremely amazing how they put a mirror edge on a knife. At this point in the stage, you got to be very careful that you don't cut yourself, because this knife is extremely sharp. Like, when I say extremely sharp, if you got the sharpest razor blade that you've ever had out of a brand new package, this knife is sharper than that. We'll do this one more time on each side. Spray it with a little water. And here we go. Thought I almost cut myself. Gotta be careful. I usually send a few Band-Aids with these when I ship them back, because they do cut and people accidentally cut themselves. So that's how sharp these are, guys. All right, we're done with that one. And now we're off to the finale, which is 0.5 micron. About 50,000 grit. But I know a lot of you already know that. All right, here we go, a little bit of water. Wipe this. And it appears black on the edge there, and that's because it's blending in with the background. But that's the mirror. I'll show you. See how that's just extremely sharp. And the key is, it's not just a mirror, but we have a perfect apex. So a lot of people will get a really nice mirror edge, but it's not apexed correctly. Well, in that case, you're not going to have a very sharp knife. You might have the edges mirrored, but you don't have a complete sharpness. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll just do a couple strokes on each side since we're done. Then I'll clean it up. And then we'll do a few tests. You guys know that this is going to be extremely sharp. And that's really it. So what I'm going to do is I'll take this out, I'll assemble it back into the original knife right here, and then I'll be back in 1 second. Stay tuned. All right, guys, I'm back. I wanted to show you the knife back in, and as you can see, it's amazing mirror finish here. I want to show you a couple of the tools that I use to basically get the knife back together. If you do a lot of Benchmades that have an Axis lock, this tool comes in extremely handy. This is actually called the Benchmade Axis Lock Tool, and I'm going to link it to the gentleman that I got this from. He makes these and he does a really good job because this is a special tool that allows you to take the knife out, the blade out, and put it back in. And I actually have some more videos here showing how to do that, but this makes it really easy. The other thing that I really like is Nano-Oil. I do put that on the washers on the inside, and that works really good. And then for the pivot screw, I use this Loctite on it. This is a, I'll show you, it's just this stuff here. Let me get that off. I don't know why that's not focusing here. Hang on. Yeah, anyway, it's this Loctite stick stuff, and that works really, really good. So definitely recommend that stuff. And what else can I tell you? I do get a piece of paper here. I thought I'd show you. This is Uline catalog. It's very hard to cut because it's so thin. Let me show you that it can cut this. And if you're new to the channel, take a moment, hit that subscribe, and make sure to, if you have a knife you want sharpened, send it to me. Let's go. Just like butter. I mean, really, really easy to do. These kind of knives will cut through anything. They have a very thin blade, so the geometry is really well, and it's extremely sharp. Look at that. I mean, you can just see this knife is apexed perfectly, and it's extremely sharp. And if you want to cut through one of these toilet paper things, that's the kind of knife that you need, is one that's perfectly apexed and mirrored perfectly. You see how it does that? Really, really easily. In fact, we can do it again because it's so sharp. A lot of people don't show that, but it can actually do it more than one time. If I can get this thing set up here. Probably like, no, I can't. No. You see? Just like that. So yeah, anyway, it's extremely sharp. I love these, and they're great, great knives, guys. If you're looking for a really nice knife to carry, you need an EDC knife. They flip open, they close, extremely sharp. This is the Benchmade Bugout 535. And the only thing that I would caution you, if you buy one of these, make sure you buy it from a reputable dealer. And I'll put a list in the description of some that I recommend, because there's a lot of people selling counterfeits out there. And the problem with counterfeits is they're not using the good steel. They're not backed by Benchmade's lifetime guarantee, and they're just generally not very good knives. So that's all I got today, guys. Thanks for checking it out, and have a great day.